Greetings, and welcome to CIBER Focus, your source for timely international business information. My name is Jimmy Bettcher, and our guest today is Chantal St. Chantal is a second-year MBA candidate majoring in marketing and corporate innovation here at the Kelley School. She's also a member of the team of Kelley MBAs that recently won a national competition to apply Jim Collins' Good to Great management framework to a nonprofit. In the case of their six-person team, they are working with Giving Back to Africa, an NGO focused on education in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Chantal, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, to start us off, could you tell us a little bit about what the Good to Great framework is and what the competition was all about?
Sure. First, let me start off with the Good to Great framework. It was, like you mentioned, Jim Collins, who is a renowned professor and a consultant. And his whole idea is trying to get an organization to start thinking about key principles to take them from being good, mediocre, to great. So some of the biggest things that he talks about is figuring out the who. You know, the people that you have around you, the people that you have on your board, the people, the skill level that they have. And really just having some key questions, asking about that, and having some key discussions and trying to implement some of the theories that he talks about to, like I said, get you from being a good organization to a great organization. So it was really interesting because they sent it out to a national competition, like you had mentioned, business schools all around the country, and we put in an essay. It was just basically an essay-driven competition, talking about how we can take his principles in helping a local NGO. In our case, he asked us to nominate two NGOs, and Giving Back to Africa was one of them. And we talked about how we can, implement his frameworks and helping them go from where they are. They're about a 3-year-old organization, and they were struggling with some of their internal issues, and thinking about how we could incorporate the principles and helping them, sort through those principles. So. Great.
Now, you had a 6-person team, right?
Yeah, it was a 6-person team.
Awesome. How was that formed, or how did you get involved?
Actually, Nidira was the lead, and she was actually a board member, a student board member of Good to Great. So she thought it would be a great opportunity for all of us, and she just sent out emails. She knows all of us are involved or have been involved with either consulting work or working with nonprofits, or that being something that we really wanted to do. So she sent it out to us, and we've all worked together in one class or one form or another, so it was really easy for us to get together, and that's how she formed the team.
Great. Now, so you worked with Giving Back to Africa.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit more about what they do or what their model is?
Sure. Giving Back to Africa, it's really an interesting organization. It was started by Anne-Marie Thompson, where she's a daughter of a missionary, so she grew up, her first 18 years of her life was in Congo. So she's very, very familiar with the country and all the challenges that have happened in those countries. So when she ended up moving here to United States as a professor here, but always felt a natural pull and I guess link to the Congo, and wanted to do something for it. So she started this Giving Back to Africa organization and worked with a local orphanage there, trying to help them implement some programs to try to develop the teachers there, to try to really do things in that particular community. So that's how that came about. And her husband also is a key board member as well.
Great. Now, what were your recommendations surrounding how to apply the Good to Great framework towards Giving Back to Africa?
It was really very simple, and I say simple because it was one of the things that it was about the core foundation of the organization. We felt that they really needed to go back and strategize on their mission. One of the things that they found that they did, like I said, they went to this one orphanage in Africa, and they really wanted to work on teacher development and trying to empower the teachers to empower the youth. But as they've been working with this organization, they found that the needs were much greater. These teachers needed to get paid salaries. The kids a lot of them were orphans, so they needed to get fed. I mean, so the very basic level of what they needed to do was a little bit different than what Good to Great wanted to implement. I'm sorry, not Good to Great, what Giving Back to Africa wanted to implement. So one of our recommendations was really her and her board members really going back and figuring out what the focus is of their organization. Do they want to help this orphanage and try to create, opportunities for them to help them, like I said, with the basic things about feeding them and giving the teachers salary? Or do they really want to stick with what their long-term goals were about empowering youth? And we felt that those were two totally different missions, and they would have to have two totally different skill sets and two totally different strategies to achieve those missions. So that was our recommendation, to really go back to the beginning and try to figure out exactly what it is that you wanted to accomplish.
Great. Now, so you're kind of at the end of this experience, I would guess, or do you see yourself to be continually involved with giving back to Africa?
Well, it's kind of like the end, because
Okay.
there was really a set time
Sure.
period. It was like most consulting projects. We started off, meeting with them, identifying what the key issues were. We worked through our recommendations, and I was actually in South Africa when studying abroad when they actually met with the team. But our team met with the board members and walk them through the whole process, walk them through our recommendations. So we say that that's the end, but we really still have such a personal relationship, and we feel kind of vested in it. So actually in the next couple of weeks we'll probably be meeting with them again, probably more on a social level, but I could see myself being still involved and trying to keep up with what their because the mission is just so powerful, and there's so much need that so many things that need to be done in the Congo, so I could definitely see myself staying in touch with them as well.
That's fantastic. Now, so looking back over the experience, what are some of your key personal takeaways from working and being involved in it?
It was a great experience. I think for me, one of the reasons why I wanted to get involved is you go through this MBA process and you learn a lot of these skills, the finance skills and the marketing skills, and we always, in most of the conversations and the cases that we have in class, it's for a Fortune 500 company where they have millions of dollars worth of resources, and we've gotten a chance to, at least at Kelley, work with a lot of top companies. I got a chance to do a consulting project for a major pharmaceutical company, and our recommendation would have probably cost them about $1.2 million, which they didn't even blink at. So now taking those same skills and now working with an NGO where their budget is not that big. They don't have as many resources. And what they're trying to do, sometimes it's even still hard to define success. That was a big challenge for me. So for me, it was a way for me to test the skills that I learned, but also to test it in with an NGO that has limited resources, and to see how that the impact that could possibly be made is far beyond what's in the bottom line, profits and costs and so on. So. Yeah.
Well, that sounds great, Chantal. It sounds like your team has done some really, really impactful work. And I'd really like to just say thank you so much for your time and joining us today at Cyber Focus. We really appreciate it, and appreciate you sharing some of the things that you've done and been involved in applying the Good to Great framework. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope you learned something about the important international and social entrepreneurial work of the Kelley School of Business. If you have any other topics that you'd like to discuss in future Cyber Focuses, please contact the Center for International Business Education and Research here at the Kelley School. Thanks.